Well, hello everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Going Live podcast. Today's episode is not going to be very long. I usually say that and I end up rambling about something, but shouldn't be very long. I don't have a whole lot to talk about if I'm honest. I was kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel, but I just wanted to talk about some specific FGC stories and kind of interesting things that have come out of it. Interesting is probably not the best word. Um, some drama that has come out of Evo, and I also just wanted to give kind of a personal little update. So we will do the Evo stuff first because that's much more fun, and then we'll close out with some personal life things that I will then close out the stream with. Nothing too crazy, just you know, wanted to talk about some personal memes. But first of all, Evo, 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 Evo. So there's been some shit. There's two different things I'm going to talk about today that happened around Evo that involve Evo in the fighting game community. One of them, I mean, they're both insane. But this one, obviously, I'm sure people have heard about it. The um, sexual assault allegations or multiple allegations of sexual assault coming from Evo. A lot of people kind of you know, giving the fighting game community some shit. And, you know, this isn't the first time that there has been drama involving accusations of people in the fighting game community acting inappropriately, saying inappropriate things, specifically towards women. I know that there was a women focused panel at Evo that had drama around it for some particular reason. People saying that it wasn't necessary. I legitimately saw with my own eyes people saying like this is why women shouldn't be in the FGC. They implanted themselves and all these problems, blah blah blah. And it's really fucking stupid. It's really stupid that people would say that. I really don't understand. I'm not a super old school fighting game person. I've been following the scene since Street Fighter 4. As far as I can remember back then, there was women. I'm sure there was probably less women, but I'm sure there was women back in the arcades too. Um, it is a male-dominated scene, unfortunately, but that doesn't mean that we can't welcome and provide an avenue for women to be allowed in fighting games and stuff. They totally should be. People are absolutely ridiculous for complaining that there is an Evo panel focused around women. um hey Liz. So people are fucking stupid. And so this is just kind of more icing on the cake where there's been a couple of different allegations. I just pulled up one of the first articles that I saw. Um, but there has been a lot of allegations about sexual assault at Evo. Um, Most recently, I don't think this was an Evo only situation, and Nat was guilty. The um the Street Fighter player, she actually, from what I understand, sexually assaulted Yoshi. That's how you say it. Yoshi. Am I saying that correctly? It's in a different spelling, but guilty has been completely wiped off the fighting game community, wiped out of the fighting game community because of allegations of sexual assault from her. Um, there was also some allegations against Flo, that he has stated on Twitter that he has hired a lawyer and he's not going to give any more information until he talks to a lawyer. Um, and there was another allegation that's coming to my head that was a photographer that sexually assaulted a female Evo participant. Now, I don't really, you didn't hear about that one? Yes, there that was also a thing that happened. Now, there's people who are really like throwing shit at the fighting game community for this, and it is totally abhorrent and just terrible. And I didn't think that. I'm not surprised that it happened. Unfortunately, I just like in my experience in the fighting game community, I haven't been exposed to that kind of acting. Like no one really is creepy towards like cosplayers. No one. I don't see like when I was at CEO and I've gone to like other locals and stuff. I don't see women getting hit on. This is just my perspective, and I know that it's not. It's a very ignorant perspective. But I know after all this is coming up that people, females on Twitter, specifically females on Twitter, were saying like, yeah, like people do a lot of creepy shit at fighting game events. And that's just so wild to me. It seemed a lot more. They seemed more wholesome, but I guess guys are still gonna try and get laid and be really creepy, and um, it's really fucked up. And you saw a lot of people. There's this article here, calling it out. James Chen, Yoshi, as I said, Crack Fiend, a lot of really big names talking about it, and it's fucking stupid. Like, people need to chill with that shit. Like, really, really, really need to chill. I don't know if. Well, I guess let me first say that I think that the fighting game community has the most females than any other competitive gaming scene. I've there is not there was I can only think of one female pro StarCraft 2 player, and she wasn't really that popular. I think she was more of a talking head than, and hey, look, we have this girl on our team. She was on the team Slayers, back in the early days of StarCraft 2. I don't recall her name off the top of my head. She was either on Slayers or Startail. Either way, those details aren't important. You don't see any at all pro female StarCraft 2 players. You don't. I know that there are pro female Counter Strike players, but none on the big stage. They always have like female leagues and stuff, but there's never like a female that's been recruited onto. I mean, I'm sure there has been, not in my recent memory, that has been recruited onto a pro Counter Strike team, and on a fighting game stage. There's a lot of females, and there's Cuddlecore and Tekken, who's I think actually being flown out to Korea to like play, or Korea or Japan. She's going out to Japan, hanging out with Kurokuro in Japan, and she's going to be fighting against some of the best Japanese players in first to tens because she's so good and she makes top eights all the time. She's a fantastic player. There is consistently really, really good female Street Fighter players. I know that there is a consistently really good anime fighting game player that is a female that I'm blanking. Then my memory isn't remembering properly, but I do know that one exists. So my point is, there's a lot more females in fighting game events than there are for other esports. So I will say that is a win. That's great. And I will 100% say this, there is the most diversity in fighting game events. You don't need to go to many tournaments to realize this. There is every single gender, race, everything, sexual orientation at fighting game events. I've been to StarCraft events. I've been to a few. It's a lot of Asian dudes and a lot of white dudes, and that's about all you saw. Counter-Strike is mostly dominated by white dudes and a couple of Brazilian teams, and that's really about it. I think that there's one good Chinese team in Counter-Strike. So it's a lot of diversity. So I think the fighting game community is like really, really good for that shit. Like really, really good diversity. Most females, in my opinion, attend fighting game events. But I think that this is a problem, and also obviously a society problem. I think that it probably is unfair to kind of pin this on the fighting game community that they have some sort of sexual assault problem. I think the whole world does. I don't think people in general treat people very well, and so I think that leaked over to the fighting game community. Like I said, this has happened before. Hell, even Eris, he doesn't have a physical sexual assault thing, but Eris back in the day was doing some sort of like cheesy, I think it was for Street Fighter Cross Tekken or something. It was like a television style show, and he got a lot of shit back in the day for like saying some like inappropriate shit to a female contender on the show. So, and he apologized for it, and he knows that he said some stupid shit. And from what is said on Twitter and all that, females do say that they do get a lot of creepy actions taken on them by men at fighting game events, and I think it's really really dumb. I'm hoping that fighting game. I don't know what a fighting game tournament runner would do. I don't know what a Jabali would do, or a Mr. Wizard, or whatever. I don't like what is the possible like solution. I don't necessarily think that there is one. I know that a lot of these allegations came from an after party situation, so it's not even necessarily at Evo. I think it was at a Red Bull after party. Yeah, see, it's at the first part of this article at official Red Bull after party held at the HyperX Esports Arena. So MT says there's way too much partying going on at FGC events. FGC people do party really fucking hard. I just think that like people are like really calling this like a fighting game issue, and I think that it's not a fighting game community issue. I think that it's a society issue, especially like the partying scene, especially when people at parties, right? It's just like so many of like just in life, like sexual assault claims come from a party situation. Yeah, like MT said, this shit happens at clubs all the time. I'm sure it happens every day. Some poor woman is probably getting drugged or something, or it's like I see it online, like on Twitter and on even on Snapchat, where like female people that I follow will show like pictures of them like covering their drinks and shit. Like it's honestly like really, I can't imagine. I literally have no perspective on what it's like to like worry about something like that. Like when I get a drink at a restaurant, I don't really go out to party. I haven't been to a club in my life, but like I've been to a bar. I haven't been worried that someone's gonna like drop something in my drink. It's just FGC dudes at the parties, so people say it's FGC people. That fits their agenda. The evil rapist gamers. Yeah, it's kind of it's pretty upsetting. It definitely puts a damper on Evo. And so does this next thing I'm going to talk about, which I find more interesting than sad. The next thing, but this is definitely just upsetting. Hopefully people chill. I know Jabali was like, and I think that this might be a thing that tournament runners can do, where they can say out loud to people that if you like, he said it, he was pretty much like, if you think something happened to you, come to me. Like that is just saying that there is someone that you could go to like get it fixed or to get it figured out, rather than, I don't think anyone's ever provided like the proper solution to that at a fighting game event. Like if you feel like you've been assaulted or sexually assaulted, then like what do you do? I mean, obviously you can go to the police, but Jabali or whoever's running the tournament is going to have information on this person. If you think you're like, oh, I think it was a big gamer 22, he was in my bracket, he was acting really inappropriate towards me, and I got up and left my set and he grabbed my butt or whatever, and then you can call the police, but obviously that should be the end result. But I think Jabali or like someone out there who's able to isolate the issue a little bit more, because he's familiar with the tournament and where the guy could be and all that stuff is the fact that he said out loud, like, come to me, you know, and then we'll figure this shit out, is I think what every tournament runner needs to have those resources available, just because people are going to go to these fighting game events and they're going to party really fucking hard, and a lot of stupid shit's going to happen, a lot of really really evil things are going to happen, and you need to know what to do after that. You know, they had alcohol at CEO. They had beer. They had beer at CEO. Actually, no, that's never mind. They did have a bar. Yep, they had a bar, like a full bar with liquor. I'm sure Evo had alcohol too. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. It's just sad. The whole situation is upsetting. It's a really bad look, and for the fighting game community, it kind of puts a damper on a really good Evo. Has a lot of people saying things on Twitter like, "I'm glad I don't go to fighting game events anymore." That they're not going to go to fighting game events anymore. MT says you need to stop allowing alcohol in venues. That might be a solution. It might help a little bit. I don't care if there's alcohol there. I will say that I definitely saw a lot of people with drinks when I was at CEO both years. So I think it definitely would be hard to convince. But I think that could be a solution, yeah. But I will say this, I saw people with flasks, so people are going to find their ways around it. I don't know if completely stopping it at the venue would do too much, but that is a possibility. That is a possibility. So people are fucking ridiculous. I guess to kind of conclude this, I think that society's pretty fucked up. A lot of people don't really respect women very much, and they do really bad things to them, like try to roofie them, which one person did, and they woke up to someone being on top of them and grabbing them inappropriately. There was other testimonials on Twitter of people saying that guys at fighting game events treat them very not they I don't know how to describe this, but they get catcalled, right? Like Liz said in the chat, have been harassed and catcalled just walking the dog. Imagine, you're at a fucking fighting game event and everyone's got all their bone juice ready, you know? So it's fucking sad. And I really hope it stops. But people are getting called out for it, so that's good. Also, stop saying that the fighting game community is like the only community that has this issue. It's like we just saw all of Hollywood brought to their fucking like crumbled because of, I won't say crumbled, but Hollywood and all these accusations there. It just goes to show that this isn't a fighting game community or a gamer issue. It's a all around societal issue of people being creepy and inappropriate and taking that to the next step and actually drugging someone or grabbing someone inappropriately is absolutely fucking ridiculous. Okay, other Evo news. we got an Evo exclusive. Got an Evo exclusive. I shouldn't be laughing at this. I shouldn't, but I just felt like bringing it up real quick just because I feel like it's kind of funny. So there was a report released that someone at the Mandalay Bay had a case of the measles. It was Smashers. I feel like, oh my god. So I don't really have anything to say. I'm not like a doctor. I mean, vaccinate your fucking kids, and if you're not vaccinated, go get vaccinations. It was unclear if the person had the measles was an Evo attendee or competitor or just someone who happened to be at the hotel. See, I mean, like, we like to meme, but there's so many, like, people there for the fighting game tournament that it had to have been. There's the probability is insane, right? It had to have been someone at, like, going to Evo, right? Like, that was there for Evo, not just, like, a random person. I don't know how big that, I'm sure that hotel's huge. I might be talking on my ass. But maybe we need to start having some like vaccination checks before you can play in a tournament, like you're getting enrolled into like public school, you know? You need to get a doctor's note that says that you've been vaccinated. You need proof. Only use essential oils. Yeah, I mean, it's just stupid. It was just a stupid story I wanted to bring up real quick. The fact that it like this came out too about Evo. Not that this is Evo's fault or anything. It's just hilarious that someone had measles and went to Evo and possibly spread it to other people. Hopefully, the whole herd immunity thing was going on there, because I would hope that everyone there was vaccinated. But you never know. You never know. You got to make sure that you got to get the doctor's notes now if you want to attend Evo. You got to have proof of your vaccinations, and you got to bring your birth certificate, or you're not allowed in. So that was just a funny story. More Evo drama to top it off. More Evo drama to top it off. Before I move on to Obama is banned from Evo. God damn it. Before I move on, does anyone have any other interesting stories or videos or anything? I was just gonna like quickly give a brief, just talk about what I had in mind with the stream and all that stuff. Anyone have anything? Any interesting topics? I don't think there is anything. It was kind of a slow week. Not much happened. I guess I can briefly say that Mortal Kombat 11, after more stuff came out, the new balance patch is looking pretty good. Oh, Jesus, hiccups. New balance patch is looking pretty good. I went and messed around with some Shao Kahn, and he's my boy, and I'm enjoying that very much. He seems to be nice and ready to go now. He's much better, in my opinion. He's much better. Let's see this. New patches really hit Scorpion mains hard. Alright, let's see. The Scorpion had a very, I wouldn't even say very good teleport, just a very easily abusable teleport. And they made it so it wasn't as abusable in this patch. And this is just a video I'm looking at, is a Scorpion quitting because this noob Cybot just crouched in the corner. Fucking right on. I'll upvote that. Why'd he quit? Because the noob Cybot is just crouching, so his teleport won't do anything. I guess that I guess that's the reason he quit. Maybe his dog, hit his Xbox. I don't fucking. Yeah, I'm enjoying the updates that they made to Mortal Kombat. I'm glad that they buffed Shao Kahn. If I could say a little bit, that I think Shao Kahn is still not going to be considered a good character. I think that there is just tools that other characters have that will forever counter Shao Kahn. I still really like him as a character. I think that he's much safer now, which is cool. And I also like that they just made his combos a little bit easier to do. Some of them were pretty hard to get off, almost impossible. And I'm not just the only one saying that. A lot of Shao Kahn mains were having issues. He definitely seems he's a lot more playable now, for sure. There is just some tools that other characters have that Shao Kahn won't, that kind of make him hard to play. against those characters, but I don't really complain about these things. I just pick the character that I like and then I play him. Um, yeah, I don't think he quit because he couldn't win. I think he quit because he wants to play. He doesn't want to play against a dick. Dang, man. Yeah. So that person made a Reddit post saying that that Scorpion quit because they were crouching. Dude, I will say this. All right, I won't complain about Shao Kahn. I think Shao Kahn's great. I will say the Mortal Kombat community is so different from like the rest of the fighting game community. And I think it's because of the more, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a more popular game, Mortal Kombat. So I think that a lot of, laymen plays like my fucking coworker plays Mortal Kombat. And he said something like, yeah, like you don't really play Mortal Kombat competitively. You play it just to do like really brutal moves. Like people who like that was my coworker. This is just some random dude I work with who found out I played Mortal Kombat. Like he legitimately didn't see Mortal Kombat as like a viable competitive game. He just thought it was like a really ultra violent like fighting game that people just played because it was bloody. And that's totally fine. That's totally fine that people want to just play the game like that. Um and so I think that Mortal Kombat really attracts kind of more the more general gaming audience, and it really shows in like the subreddit and like the chats. um like people call like Cetrion OP because she has some like pretty good ranged moves, but she's by far not even close to being overpowered. People are fucking furious that they like teased new DLC characters, which is weird. So weird. I guess it's so normal and like being a part of like fighting games that I for the time that I have now that I'm used to the way characters are released. You don't just blow your load and release all the characters at the same time. You do a drip release. You like, okay, here's a new character, 2 months 2 months later, here's a new character, 2 months later, here's a new character. People on like the Mortal Kombat subreddit go fucking ballistic over the fact that like they teased Nightwolf, but they didn't release him within like a week. And I think that comes from like the more general gaming audience who are used to just like huge dumps of content, but that's just not the way fighting games are able to sustain themselves. um they kind of, to be able to support themselves, they kind of need that drip. They can't just like blow their load, and or else people will lose interest, right? They need to keep people's interest over the life of the game by slowly releasing new content. But I guess, I mean, people just aren't used to that aren't used to playing fighting games. Weird side rant aside, the Mortal Kombat community is strange. They are genuinely strange. I don't know like how else to say other than like just go to a Mortal Kombat tournament and like read the chat, or go to like the Mortal Kombat subreddit. They say some really funny, weird, like scrub quotes tier shit. And they're all mass murderers in the making. That's right, Empty, because they played this violent video game. They're playing the most violent video game. Didn't Mortal Kombat wasn't that the game that caused them to put like ratings, or they invented like the M rating or something like that? Is that Mortal Kombat 2? Yeah, Night Trap. Yeah, Night Trap as well. I finished my smoothie. Yeah, I'm happy with Mortal Kombat. Happy with the way that it's going. I'm glad that they're updating it and they're doing. It looks like they have a nice lineup of characters that they're going to release. So I'm pretty happy with it. Tekken is still probably my go-to game right now, but I'm still enjoying Mortal Kombat. That was cool. When I was 8 or something, I got to rent Mortal Kombat. Dang, man. I bet you were scarred. I'm surprised you haven't, like, you know, done something violent. Anyway, so this is gonna be a pretty short podcast. I just wanted to wrap it up by saying a few things about the stream. It's not going anywhere. Um, I did make a tweet yesterday that I'm having hard thinking of a direction for the stream, and I totally recognize this pattern in myself where I like I feel like unmotivated to stream, not because I don't want to stream. I want to stream, but I always feel like what I stream is like, I recognize that Twitch is very saturated, and I feel like what I stream isn't worth watching or like isn't special in some way, right? So I end up getting really demotivated, and I don't want to stream because I'm like, fuck, man, like I'm just like not putting on very entertaining streams. I don't feel confident in them. And it's like, okay, like I really like streaming Tekken. Twitch is like very depressing. It's hard. It's genuinely hard to like stay motivated. It genuinely is. And it's like, and I think it was also my schedule change. You know, I was like, okay, let's try and stream after work, because I'm very much a person like you get me going, and like I'm like, I have no problem just to keep going, right? But if I like work and then I take a break for like a day, and then like the next day I'm like, I want to fucking chill, dude. I don't want to work. I just got done doing that. So I was like, my mindset was like, okay, you get off work, you're still like active, and then you get to streaming and your brain is still going. But it was just so, my job involves me working with other people, and like it's a very teamwork part of the company that I work at. It's a lot of communication between me and attorneys, a lot of phone calls, a lot of talking with other people in my office to get shit fixed. And I am not a very extroverted person, so that really takes a lot of social energy out of me. It takes a lot of social energy out of me. And so does streaming. Streaming takes a lot of social energy out of me. I am projecting my personality out into the internet, right? It's almost as much projection as you have to do when I'm like working, right? Where I'm being active, I'm talking to people, I'm remembering things. And same thing in Twitch. I'm not acting, but I am projecting my personality out to be entertaining in a stream fashion, right? So it was a little draining socially, and that was hard to do after work. MT says, I got really fucked up when I gained viewers, then declined in viewers in the span of a week. And Liz also says, remember when I got like 70 viewers my second day of streaming, and because I got lucky rated, and then it plummeted. Yeah, I remember that. And I warned you too. I was like, just so you know. But of course, no one is immune. No one is immune to these feelings, right? No one is. No one's immune to these feelings, and I don't necessarily lose my motivation because of views. I don't even look at the view count. But I do have, like a heartbeat on like what people find interesting, of course. I really like playing Tekken. I really do. But I realize it's probably not the most entertaining thing to stream, but I still really like Tekken. I do agree that my most entertaining streams are probably single player games, and in which they are usually story heavy. I do like streaming those games as well, but I need to stop going so hard into like one thing. Like I get really into like streaming single player games, and like I get really into, playing JRPGs or whatever. And then I'll play a JRPG, and I'll play another, and then I'll start another, and I'm just like, fuck. I don't want to play any more JRPGs. Fuck. I fucked up, Or I'll be like, okay, I'm really, really, really into Tekken. let me stream Tekken for like a fucking month, and then like, it's like fuck, man. Like I don't feel like I don't feel like playing a fighting game ever again. You know, it's because I go so hard. My brain is so stupid because I just go super hard into like streaming. When I say, I guess I should correct myself. I feel like I never want to stream a fighting game again. That's what I specifically say. Um, you could do like Grubby does and his theme on all days, where he plays a different race in Warcraft 3. Um, I like the idea of having themed streams. I've done these before. I've done these before where I've like had ideas for streams and like I do specific things on specific days. And they can work out. What I find being the problem is usually like one of the themes I will like doing more than the others, if that makes sense. Like I'll be like, so let's say I have like a day where I play, just an example, like Monday I play Dota, Tuesday I play Counter-Strike, Wednesday I play League of Legends. And let's say that like I start off the week and I play Dota, and it's like, holy fuck, like Dota, this game is so fun. I don't even want to fucking play Counter-Strike the next day. And then I'll be like, but I said I was going to play Counter-Strike, you know? And so maybe I'll force it, and maybe I'll have a fine time, but the whole time in my head I'm like, damn, I really should have played Dota that day. I just really wanted to play Dota. And so that is what I found was happening when I was doing like themed days. But I think that it might be a good idea because, especially if people kind of hold me up to it, it would like force me to not go like super hard on like playing a very specific thing for too long. God, I keep on getting hiccups. Like Resident Evil, for example. This is a perfect example. I play Resident Evil like I played like how many different Resident Evil games did I play in like the course of like a couple of months? I played like 3 different Resident Evil games. The 3 or 2? Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 2, and RE2. So yeah, 3 Resident Evil games in the course of like a couple of months. And you know, I finished Declare. Oh yeah, so it was 4 total. So it was Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 4, and the Resident Evil 1 remake. And so I get to Resident Evil 2 remake, and I beat the Claire A playthrough, and comes around time for Leon playthrough, and it's like, dude, I've been scared to stream, other than Resident Evil 4. Other than Resident Evil 4, which wasn't that scary, Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 1 were like actually stressful in like the most amazing way. Most amazing way are these games stressful. But they are stressful to me. I am actually getting emotionally distressed playing Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 1 remake. Resident Evil 4 was just pretty goofy fun. So and then I get into Resident Evil 2, which stresses me out. It's terrifying, absolutely fucking terrifying, and I love playing it, but you know it's draining. And it's like, okay, I beat Claire A, let's do Leon B. It's like, okay, I do some Leon B. It's like, fuck, man, I am burnt on these. I am burnt on feeling scared. I am like tired of being scared, and I'm tired of playing Resident Evil. So then I just drop it, and everyone's like, "Oh, when are you gonna finish it?" I'm like, I don't know. Like, I genuinely want to keep playing it. I genuinely do, but I don't want to stream it, because if I'm not playing it, or if I'm playing it off stream, I'm turning on the lights, and I'm like, I have like Eris's stream on the other monitor, right? So it's not that tense. But when I'm streaming it, obviously I want to put on a good stream. I'm gonna have the lights off. I'm going to, you know, not have any sort of distractions, and I want to be really into it. That way people can, you know, be involved and feel like they're playing it with me. So I mean, that is a perfect example as to why you see me like not finishing games, especially if it's like a game that I've played a similar one of, like if I played a bunch of JRPGs, or if I played a bunch of Resident Evil or whatever. Turn the lights off, plug in the disco ball. Good idea. See, it's not just the lights. I mean, it's like the whole thing, right? It's the whole process of like when I'm streaming when I'm streaming Resident Evil, I'm so much more into it than if I wasn't streaming it. So that is something I'll have to think about. Doing specific things, rewire and focus yourself to keep a schedule. It's like working out. That's a good point, Liz. I didn't think of it like that. Like just thinking of it like working out. Like I get up every morning at 4:50 in the morning to work out, and I do it no matter what. Um, and it's like it sounds funny. I've been getting more like mental motivation to do things by listening to. I don't want to give him a shout out. I mean, like, not that I don't mind, but I've been listening to Joe Rogan's podcast, and he gets a lot of comedians. Recently, he's had a lot of comedians on his podcast, and they all talk about the just kind of digging your heels, because in their scene, right, you have to do so many of these open mic events, and you're gonna get booed, and you're gonna say bad jokes, and you're gonna have like bad days, but you're gonna have good days too, and you just have to keep digging your heels in and just keep doing what you like doing, and like only good things can come from that. It was kind of the mentality that I got. Just just doing something with unwavering passion, right? And I was also listening to the Pylon show, the most recent one, where they talked about In Control and his death and all that, and they talked about how he was one of those people where it was just so proud of what he liked, right? He was so into it, it like defined him, right? He was Starcraft guy. He played Warhammer, and he liked his dog, and he was so proud of all those things. And if someone made fun of it or if he got discouraged, he was very good at reassuring himself that no, like you are like what you're doing is really fucking sick, and you need to keep doing it. And I used to be like that when it came to Starcraft. Back when I was playing a lot of Starcraft. And so I was very unwavered by people who would talk shit, or people who would, I didn't really get made fun of, but people would poke fun at me for playing so much Starcraft. I legitimately told my parents that I wanted to be a professional Starcraft player. Like that is that is pretty big for someone to say to their parents. I feel like you would be kind of afraid to like tell your parents that. But I was just so happy. I was just so into the game. It brought me so much joy that I was like, I want to be a professional Starcraft player. I had a plan. I wanted to be Masters by the time I was a senior in high school. I started playing Starcraft my sophomore year. And so I was like, by senior year, I want to be Masters and a Masters Protoss player. I want to play I want to be on a team. I had all these ideas, and I was like following through with it. It's just my own passion kind of faded a bit with Starcraft. I didn't want to do that anymore. But it's still like I still love that game. I have so much respect for it and all its community members. But I need to try and like figure out how to harvest that same unwavering like passion for streaming, because I used to have it. I used to have it where I would stream like just fucking so much. I would stream so much. Granted, back when I had it, I also wasn't working as much and taking more advanced classes. So, a little bit of a different situation, but we know from watching other people that I'm still a young man. I'm not a tired old, midlife crisis guy or anything like that. Like I have plenty of energy. I just need to, keep tweaking. I feel bad because I realize I go into these different moods with streaming, and I know people are fucking sick of it, right? Like I know people are like so tired of seeing the tweets every like couple of months. What is it, like every 4 or 5 months it's another tweet saying that I don't have any motivation, and then the stream disappears for like a week. Because I would be tired of it. If it was me, I would be like, dude, just fucking quit. Like if you're gonna be a bitch, like just quit. But if I've taught myself anything, then you just have to keep trying different things, because if you don't, then you'll never know. So yeah, I'm going to try and bring back weekend streams. I'll probably start them on Thursday. do like Thursday through Monday or something like that, because typically by that end of the week I have most of my stuff done. But maybe we'll make like Thursdays like optional days, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday will be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday will be like the main stream days. Fortnite is a good game. Go pro in that.
On top of grandma's.
I'll tell you when I'm close enough. You can see my monitor is off right now. All right.
Wait. We will guide you. We will guide you. They're right in front.
Aim more forward, Tim.
Right now.
All right, start charging. And aim on the floor. Aim on the floor.
Oh, there's lasers now. They're going southwest.
Almost. Aim on the floor. Yep, you got one.
This is fucking gross. They made a blog post. Sorry, I know this is completely random. We're watching a clip of Tim the Tatman playing Fortnite with the new Brute mech. They released an update. Yeah, here it is. Saku just posted the Kotaku article. They pretty much made a blog post because people were complaining about the mech because it's really strong. And pretty much they said like, fuck you, more people are winning because of this, and get fucked. Like, I mean, that's pretty much the summarization of the mech, which is, I find pretty funny. Fortnite, as it gets more and more popular and ridiculous, in terms of ridiculous, I mean like they add like crazy stuff. It's gonna have a hard balance of, do they want pro players to be satisfied in the competitive scene, or do we want casuals? It's like the biggest gaming conundrum. It's so funny that it's finally hitting Fortnite, where it's like something so ridiculous that you don't even need to even try can get you a win. It's funny. Fortnite's a funny game. Anyway, what was I talking about? Zach, you fucking distracted me. Oh yeah, so I completely am aware that I go through phases, and I'm just trying to find what I can do consistently. I've now learned my lesson that it's kind of hard to stream after you just worked a full day and after you've gotten up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and to get home and stream after that for a couple hours is pretty hard. It's not impossible. Plenty of people do it. It's just, for me, I think my tolerance for that kind of thing is not very strong, and I think you can probably build up that tolerance. You would think that someone like me would have been able to build it up, considering I've been streaming on and off since like 2012. Not to say that I was consistently streaming. Like I said, there was a lot of on and off times when I would stream, but I don't have that tolerance, that social tolerance. The last thing I want to do when I get home from work is honestly just sit here at my computer and watch Twitch and eat dinner and go to bed at like 9 o'clock. Like that is my ideal get home from work plan. So I think that real boomer hours, like being a boomer, is pretty fun. If I'm honest, it's pretty great. Also, let me say real quick, because I just thought of this when you said real boomer hours. I also found that I had a harder time sleeping after I would stream on the weekdays. I'm very much a person that needs my brain to calm down before I go to sleep. I can't like play a game of Counter-Strike or like do a bunch of sessions of Tekken and then just like go to sleep. It gets way too fucking wired and gets way too like ADD. I can't do it. And so I just found that I was like, okay, I stream, I'm streaming. Usually like my plan is like, okay, I stream, then I would like talk to Liz on Skype for like a little bit, hang out with my girlfriend, and then I'd go to sleep. But I still, my brain is still like, just go. Like it doesn't chill the fuck out. So I was having a hard time sleeping, and that isn't good when you have to get up at, 4 a.m. It's not good. So I was also not too happy with that. So we learned that. I learned that. I think I'm going to bring back weekend streams. I'm going to stream this weekend. Thank you, Windows. I'm going to bring back Resident Evil 2. I'm going to play Leon B hardcore. I'm going to restart that playthrough completely. Redoing Leon B. We're going to do it hardcore because I'm not a bitch, and I actually really, really like that game. So I'm excited to do that. I am still probably going to stream fighting games. I don't know if I'm going to do like set days for fighting games or if I'm just going to do it when I feel like it. I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe like on weekend streams I can do, since it's the weekend, stay up a little bit later. I can do like 2 hours of Resident Evil, 2 or 3 hours of Resident Evil, and then like 2 hours of Tekken, just to get that or Mortal Kombat or whatever. Because I like streaming fighting games. I like streaming fighting games. I just know that other people don't particularly find them interesting. That's totally fair. That's totally fair. I still like streaming fighting games, and I don't want to completely shut that out. Like Proto, exactly, like Proto. So, I'm thinking that it'll probably be a majority like single player game content or whatever, and then fighting game streams like mixed in. What this does though is it allows me to play fighting games on the weekdays, and then I can focus on the streams on the weekends. And I think that is a pretty good balance. What I am worried about is not feeling like I get that social break. Like I said, I'm really sensitive to like being social in excessive amounts. And what I did find when I used to stream on weekends before was that I would not get a break from talking. It's like I work the whole week, and then the weekend I would stream. Obviously, it's still, it's not. I'm not saying that streaming is the same equivalent, like stress equivalent as work, but I am projecting my personality, right? I'm still doing that. So like my brain was like, holy shit, dude, like you've been talking a lot, like shut the fuck up. Like you need to chill out. And then it's like, all right, Sunday rolls around. I've done like a Friday and Saturday stream, and Sunday rolls around, and I'm just like, fuck man, I don't feel like doing anything, And then I don't stream, and then Empty's typing exclamation point schedule in the Discord, and it's like, fuck man, like I don't feel like talking. I don't feel like talking. So I'm just not gonna stream because I just spent the whole week talking. Fake news. Communicate with the stream by opening a notepad in 10 FPS and type 7 words a minute. That's a good idea. Solid idea. So the plan that I liked in my head was Thursday, Friday. Yeah, I know you're just busting my balls. I'm just joking around too. I legitimately don't get upset or like mad when people like. It doesn't tilt me. I was just like, I'm about to say, like, I don't get upset or mad when people like call me out or whatever. Like I get more frustrated when I don't know what people want. And it makes me happy that people are actually like, wow, he's not streaming. And they remember that I'm not streaming. It's like, that is something that's like the fact that someone even cares enough about the stream to think it's 6 o'clock on a Saturday and Soapy's not live. Like you thought about that. You were like thinking about my stream. Like that's crazy. I'm very lucky to have that, because people will stream forever and not get anything like that. It's very hard. It's a dog world out there, especially on Twitch. You'll see on like r/Twitch, r/Twitch, you'll see people. I've been streaming for 2 years and I have 5 viewers or whatever. They're like legitimately really upset, and they stream a lot, and it's really hard. It's honestly really, really hard. So I think overall, I hope you guys understand why this happens. I think I made sense, right? Where I get really into like a thing, and then I like burn myself out on it, and then I don't stream it, or like I get really drained socially at work or whatever, and I don't feel like talking, or I have a really bad anxiety episode where I don't feel like doing anything, like at all. I don't feel like working. I don't feel like streaming. I don't feel like, doing anything. All those things can affect the stream. And my goal is to just find a plan that isn't, obviously nothing's going to be foolproof, but just find like a schedule, find a plan, an idea, a goal, or whatever that makes it easier to like get around those like blockades and just focus on the stream. Growing a stream is like walking uphill, but the hill is made of jello. It's honestly like incredibly hard. If I was new to streaming, I would probably stream on Mixer. If I was like new to the scene, I'm like old man on Twitch. Like my account is almost as, I think my account is like a couple weeks short of being like one of the first Twitch accounts. I was on Justin TV, but I didn't have an account. I joined Twitch when they made the switch. I just didn't make an account until like a couple of weeks later. But I think if you look at my account, it says it was like that month. When was I? Yeah, January 9th of 2011. I don't know when Twitch started. I think it was in like late December of 2010, maybe November. Sorry, I typed test so I could click on my name and see. But yeah, anyway, I've been around on Twitch for like a really long time, so I'm super used to it. I really like a lot of the communities on here, so I don't think I will leave Twitch. But if I was a new streamer and I had no attachment to this website, I would totally stream on Mixer. It's really hard to get noticed on Twitch. Mixer's layout is kind of weird. I do agree. I don't like Mixer's like pages, like the people's like pages that you watch them on, where they have like the window is so small, like where you watch this like the stream, but then they have like these huge like buttons underneath, and like just looks weird. It doesn't look very good. It's like these huge like buttons that people can like pay the equivalent, I think, of like bits or whatever to like play a noise, or there's like confetti like raining down from the top or whatever. Like, I'm not a super big fan of the layout either, but I'm sure they'll tweak it. Like Twitch's layout wasn't exactly good either, so I'm sure they'll tweak it and do all that. But yeah, I think I said what I wanted to say, and just to kind of summarize, I want to figure out a plan that makes it not difficult to stream on a certain day. That's a really weird way of describing that. And I think what that's got to be is a consistent schedule, a plan as to what I'm playing, and keeping in mind that I don't want to burn myself out on a certain genre. I think I'm pretty much not going to ever be able to be a solo game streamer ever. If anything, I'd probably do that with like a fighting game, but growing your stream on like a fighting game is hard. The only reason why I stream Tekken is because I genuinely love Tekken. Like, I genuinely really love playing it. And so that is what I feel like playing. And so that's what gets streamed. But streaming Tekken in and of itself isn't the best. It's not a very active Twitch scene. I would like to be one of those people that grows it. And so I'm still going to like make Tekken content, but I definitely think that my personal best content is my player game content. So maybe it'll be something like half single player, half Tekken streams. Maybe it'll be like, certain days we do Tekken and certain days we do single player. I'm not sure. But I just wanted to talk about what I've been going through, and throw some ideas out there. If you guys have ideas, please, like anything you have in mind, just let me know, because I am completely open to any idea, and I'm serious. So please, if you have any ideas or suggestions or whatever, let me know. Do let me know. I think I'm going to go ahead and end it there. It's going to be a pretty short podcast. Just stream. All right, yeah, I got it. Funny thing is that forehead emote took like like 10 minutes to load on my end. It just said, so you just said just stream, and in my head I said like forehead, right? Like but like, and then it like popped up like on the screen. Like Twitch had a little bit of a lag. Anyway, thank you guys for watching and for putting up with me. I will be on tomorrow. I don't know what time. I'm still thinking about when will be the best time. Still thinking about that. Just really quickly, I think that the times will probably be either late afternoon going up until dinner time, or after dinner time going into the night. One of those. Not sure which one, but I'm still thinking on it. Maybe we'll try both this weekend and see which one I prefer. Anyway, thank you guys. Appreciate you all. Thank you everyone for the support.